in this example, let's think about part number 1, and I want to think with you about what the material from Stat 231 can tell us about how operator 1 and operator 2 compare. So for part number 1, our operator number 1 and number 2 clearly doing something different. Presumably not, because we've already done a calculation that says the reproducibility variance, or a reasonable estimate of variance for part number 1 is 0, going across both operator 1 and 2, but including operator 3. So presumably not, but let's see what the material of Stat 231 modified slightly would have to say. So what we're talking about here is comparing the 2/10 and the 4/10, both of these things based on sample sizes of 10. So both based on sample sizes of 10. Notice that if I take 10 trials and add 4 fictitious trials to that, and I take 2 non-conforming calls and add 2 more to that, I wind up with 0.2857 for a p twiddle or a p tilde. Whereas if I take 10 inspections and add 4 to 4 non-conforming calls, I add a fictitious 2. This turns out to be 0.4286 as a fraction, and that gives me approximate confidence limits then for the difference in P1 and P2 that are these. What I'll do is take the difference in the p-hats, and I need some level of confidence, so let's make it 95% confidence. 95% confidence, I want the upper 2.5% point of the standard normal distribution. That's 1.96, and I'm going to take 0.2857, multiply by 1 minus that, put that over 10, and take 0.4286 times 1 minus that, and put that over 10. Put that all under a square root. That gets me minus 0.2 plus or minus 0.49. And my point here is that that thing is bigger than, in magnitude, that is bigger than this difference that it's estimating. The uncertainty is bigger than the estimate itself, and this is a way of using good old Stat 231 material to say that indeed we have no clear evidence of a difference between P1 and P2. That is, the rate at which operator number 1 is making non-conforming calls. I can't tell that with clarity from the rate at which operator number 2 is making non-conforming calls on part number 1. That is, this is a Stat 231 way of thinking about this reproducibility component of variation in these 0-1 calls. These are methods for doing R&R in 0-1 contexts. They're about the best that can be explained at this level, and these are ones that we recommend then for your use if you come up against this R&R question in your projects.